Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my precious pack, and welcome back once more to VEGA Conflict. Today we're going to go through a few targets, and these are going to be... They're not event targets, they're actually secondary targets. They're things that spawn around the clock, permanent targets. And what they drop is more important than anything else. Because what they drop for this target that you see currently is Ablative Armor 3 Fragments. Now, these drop rates are just garbage, and this is a video to both bring it to the attention of the development team, share recommended drop rates, as well as to discuss and show tactics and just how easy you can farm them. Again, using the manifold venoms, as you can see currently, it's not that difficult of a tactic, and due to the cheap nature of the ships, if they break, you wait 1 minute, they're back in the fight. I'm also going to show in a video later, which is a secondary video, it will be a co-op target. It's a use for Zeus's aside from kiting targets the entire fight, which I actually found when I was farming with Noah. But for now, this is the Miscreant 95. They drop Nova Missile 4 Fragments, Ablative Tungsten Armor. Of course, it's going to be the Ablative, because it's the primary goal of what we're going for with this fight. And I'm going to show you 2 ways to farm it. The low-level way, where you can literally do the no-tech way, which is all stuff we earn from the campaigns now. And the secondary way will be with the... It'll be a slightly higher tech way, but it'll be a virtually no repair time fight. And it'll utilize a ship that not everyone has currently, but I'm still waiting on the grind targets. So I can do a full set of farming for them. And what that ship is the Harvester. And this fight, you only need to redo the attack twice. Well, you only need to attack twice using the insta-fleet, because you can completely wipe out everything in the fleet as long as you fly well. And as you can see, the first attack nearly wiped out everything in the fleet. And these are all Mark III Venoms, and due to how relatively easy it is to farm in-planet fleets with Axis and above, well, Xeno Division and above at that, you should easily be able to farm everything to mark upgrade them. However, because it's luck-based, you're going to have to take the chance. Unless you want to wait until one of the battleship supply runs begins, in which case then you'd have a better chance. However, I have recommendations for the development team to change that as well, because any type of drop that is randomly based is not going to be guaranteed progress, and with fleets like these, you're going to want guaranteed progress. So, what are the recommendations? Well, for one, I would like the development team to look into the drop rates and things like that for permanent fleets, as well as to just look into the drop rates for older patterns and things like that, because just because something is obsolete, no longer a primary featured ship, doesn't mean it should have utterly garbage drop rates. It should be able to be upgraded so you can utilize tactics like these, so you can leave the primary repairs on your main fleets untouched. You don't have to use them to farm these targets, so you can use the cheap tactic and save your big boy ships for the larger, more dangerous fights, such as event fleets or things like that. And moving forward, I'm going to be doing double attacks for every single event target, because what I want to do is I want to start farming them with the intention of both destroying the target for intel, as we normally do, but also for the drops, because that's another thing that I normally look into myself, is the drops from fleets. So moving forward, the insta-fleets will be used to both farm for target points as well as to finish fleets off, but I'm also going to start looking into using them as opening fleets. So they're going to be the ships that go in first to start opening up a target and destroying weaker ships and things like that to just clear up the clutter. And I'll be sharing those tactics, and they'll most likely be on the channel as test fight videos, and they'll be under a category all their own, and they'll be in a playlist all their own, and it will be a test fight video. And similar to the concept ideas, it'll be directly within the first portion of the name of the video. So, with all that said, if anybody has any questions or has any specific targets they would like to be farmed, go ahead and say so, and I'll share the cheap tactic, or I'll work on a cheap tactic. But the primary goal is to use battleships due to the firepower, specifically Venoms due to the 1 minute repair time that is tacked to them, along with a fleet commander such as Clay. Again, mostly stuff that can be acquired through simple gameplay. Something you're not going to have to wait for an event to play or anything like that, but stuff you can farm around the clock. So if it's a permanent fleet, go ahead and ask, I'll share the tactic. And the next set of videos revolving around farming for the Segfault will be coming very soon. They're actually planned for Monday of next week. They're going to be Monday through Friday with 2 releases on Friday. Because I've slowly stopped with concept ideas because I'm not running out of ideas for the game, but I want to take a break from the game at times, so not pushing out additional content for it is one way to do that. But back to the point. The targets that you fight will be easy to farm, and if you can get a Harvester, it'll be much easier before you can get any other Dreadnought due to the raw firepower of the ship. And as you can see, I'm not using Clay or Burr with this fleet. I'm using Sybil because it's a resource-carrying fleet mostly for what I use it for. However, to boost the shields and just make it a little bit more durable and just tanky in general, I would advise you use Burr with this setup so you can get a little bit more shield strength out of the relatively squishy shields that you're going to have access to. And I'm going to do a full video list of suggestions for the game, but there's a few that I'm going to list in the next video, which will be a co-op with Noah, and it will be one of the targets, and it will be showcasing co-op capabilities of the Zealots. But I also want to discuss some of the defense types and recommended changes for them moving forwards with the game, because just because it's old tech doesn't mean it needs to be obsolete. But we're drawing to a close of this video, everybody. And with that, I say, be safe out in the void, happy hunting, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day, everybody.